Thyroid hormone is one of the endocrine hormones which is involved in maintenance of basal physiology. In this video, we are going to see that how the thyroid hormone acts on the target organs and what is the effect of thyroid hormone. Everyone, welcome back to HM Learnings. I am Harshita, the creator of HM Learnings, where students come to clear their concept and to get the study material. Make sure that you have subscribed my channel. You can also follow HM Learnings on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter for daily updates. We have also started uploading all our slides on website SlideShare. You can easily download and clip our slides from that website. I will also share the link of this video slides in the description box. So please go and click on that link and you will be on the SlideShare. So we will start our today's video, that is about the thyroid hormone. So first we will look at the mechanism of action of thyroid hormone. So it will explain that how the thyroid hormone is going to act on the cell, and it is going to activate the cell to bring about the the synthesis of the proteins that are required to exert its physiological action. And then we will see that what are its action. Okay, so mechanism of action of thyroid hormone explains that how the thyroid hormone acts on its target cell. Okay, so here we can see we have two thyroid hormones, T3 and T4. So T4 and T3 both can diffuse through the cell membrane, or they can actually be transported via the help of the carrier mediated transporter 2. So by that they can enter inside the cell. Now here in some of the target cells, what happens is that the T4 gets converted into the T3 by the help of an enzyme called as a 5'3'-monodiiodinase. So it will convert the T4 to T3 in some of the target tissues, and after that both these forms of T3 and T4 can move to the nucleus. See, okay, so in the nucleus they will go and bind to their nuclear receptor, that is a thyroid receptor. Now after binding to its nuclear receptor, the thyroid receptor will form a dimer with the another protein which is called as a retinoid X receptor. So by this it forms the heterodimerization. It is called as a heterodimerization because here dimer is formed. Dimer means it consists of the two different proteins, and hetero means it has two different proteins. If it has a thyroid hormone receptor with thyroid hormone, and another one is also the thyroid hormone receptor with the thyroid hormone, then it is called as the homodimer. But here one is a thyroid hormone receptor with the thyroid hormone, and another one is the different protein which is a retinoid X receptor. Now it will go and bind. Okay, so this heterodimerization actually increases the affinity of the thyroid receptor to bind to the hormone response element which is present in the promoter region of the gene. So after binding to this region, now this can actually alter the transcription of these genes. Okay, to whatever gene it go and bind, this complex now can alter the transcription of that gene. It can either increase the transcription of that gene or it can decrease the transcription on that gene. So after that there will be the various physiological actions which comes into the picture. So this is how the thyroid hormone enters inside the cell and makes the cell to actually, it does what? It ensures that how the cell is going to do the functions which thyroid hormone wants it to do. Okay, then what are the functions of thyroid hormone? So this is a table I have taken from the Ganon. This table summarizes beautifully the function of the thyroid hormone. If you don't have time to read on all the things regarding all the functions in the detail, you can just go through this table and you can have some marks in your question definitely. So here it shows the effect on the heart, on the adipose tissue, muscle, bone, nervous system, gut, lipoprotein, and the other effects too. So by this you can see that the thyroid hormone has an effect on various target organs. It has effect on almost on every organ in the body, and by this it actually shows the importance of the thyroid hormone, the normal thyroid endocrinology in the body. So here we will actually classify the thyroid hormone functions as the calorigenic functions, and another one is a non-calorigenic functions. So in the calorigenic function, we are going to see those functions which are involved in increasing the basal metabolic rate, and in the non-calorigenic functions, we are going to see, right, what is the effect of the thyroid hormone on the cardiovascular disease, on the cardiovascular system, what is the effect of thyroid hormone on the nervous system, and so on. So first we are going to see the calorigenic effect. So thyroid hormone actually increases the energy consumption and as well as the oxygen consumption, and that occurs because of the calorigenic actions. It actually activates various forms of the metabolic reactions as well as the activity of the pumps, so that the energy consumption is increased. Okay, every metabolic process involves the consumption of energy. So energy consumption is increased, and that is how the oxygen is increased, and basal metabolic rate is increased because the rate at which the metabolism is happening is increased. Okay, so by increasing the metabolic pathways like both the anabolism and catabolism, by increasing the activity of the sodium potassium pump, and by increasing the thermogenesis, the the thyroid hormone increases the energy consumption. It increases the basal metabolic rate. Okay, now how it does so? Okay, how it influences the activity of sodium potassium pump. So it increases the activity of the sodium potassium pump. Now you have to remember that sodium potassium pump is present on every cell's membrane throughout the body. So by this you can say that the thyroid hormone has such a widespread action. Okay, in every cell the thyroid hormone can act, because every cell is having the action of it is having the sodium potassium pump. Okay, so sodium potassium, the T3 of the thyroid hormone, it increases the synthesis of the sodium potassium pump. Okay, the sodium potassium pump actually has alpha and the beta subunits, so it increases the transcription of both the subunits of this pump, and as a result what will happen, there will be increase in the number of this pump present on the cell surface. Then secondly, it will actually also cause the stabilization of that mRNA that encodes for the sodium potassium pump. So ultimately what will happen, there is increase in the number of the pumps which is available at the cell membrane, so there will be increase in the activity of the sodium potassium pump. Apart from this, there are leaky channels also. Sodium leaky channels and potassium leaky channels, they also operate. Okay, so on the one hand what is happening, there is activity of the sodium potassium pump, on the another hand there is activity of the leaky channels. Okay, so by this you can say that there is no use of this activity. Okay, there is all wastage of a ATP, because sodium potassium pump is using the ATP for pumping the sodium out, for pumping the sodium and potassium against their concentration gradient. So it is wasted by the leaky channels. Ultimately the concentration gradient remains the same, because sodium potassium pump is also operating as well as the leaky channels are also operating. So what will happen? There is no usage. So that is how the thyroid hormone has a calorigenic effect. It is actually wasting the energy. The second thing is that it has a role in the metabolism too. Okay, so how it actually increases the carbohydrate metabolism. It actually increases the rate of its absorption from the intestine. It increases the hepatic rate of production of glucose by the gluconeogenesis process. Okay, by increase in the expression of those gluconeogenic enzymes like the phosphorynyl pyruvate carboxykinase, pyruvate carboxylase, and the glucose 6-phosphatase. In the protein metabolism, it has both the action, proteolytic and the proteogenic, but proteolytic is more than the proteogenesis, and that is how the product of the proteolysis, they are available for the gluconeogenesis. Fat metabolism, again lipolysis, lipogenesis both, but lipolysis is predominant. So fatty acids are available for the fuel, and the glycerol is available as a substrate for gluconeogenesis. So all these processes, you can see, on the one hand there is anabolism of the glucose, There is anabolism of the protein, there is anabolism of the lipid. On the other hand, there is catabolism of glucose, catabolism of catabolism of carbohydrate, catabolism of protein, and catabolism of the lipid. So both pathways, which are totally opposite, they are happening. Okay, in both the pathways, the energy is consuming. So there is no use of such pathways. Such things are called as futile cycles. Means the energy is consuming, but that energy is not consuming in any useful work. Okay. So by this means, the thyroid hormone has a calorigenic effect. Another effect is a thermogenesis. Which type of thermogenesis? Non-shivering. Non-shivering means your muscles and skeletal muscles are not involving in that. Okay, that type of shivering is called as the shivering thermogenesis. Here it is non-shivering thermogenesis, so it occurs in the brown fat only. So brown fat adipose tissue, brown adipose tissue is basically present in the pneumons. So in the pneumons, what is happening that they don't have well developed shivering mechanism, but they have to maintain their body temperature. Okay, so for that they have brown adipose tissue, so that is abundant in the upper back and the neckline, and by that what is happening, they have another protein called as the uncoupling protein, which is present on the inner mitochondrial membrane. So by that protein, what is happening, it is actually a proton pump. Normally it is inhibited, it is not open, but in response to thyroid hormone stimulation, what happens that inhibition is lost. The proton pump, the uncoupler one is get activated, it gets opened. It will allow the proton to move from the intermembrane space to the matrix, from the high concentration to the low concentration, and as a result, what will happen? There will be a dissipation of the proton gradient, there will be a loss of the proton gradient, and what will happen? There will be no ATP generation. Okay, so that energy is distributed in the form of the heat. Energy is not captured, it is not locked in the ATP, it will be released, it will be liberated. So that is how the heat is produced that is going to maintain the body temperature. Okay, so this is again the mechanism by which the thyroid hormone has a calorigenic effect. Now, what its effect on the cardiovascular system? So on the cardiovascular system, it has a very important effect, like it will increase the expression of the beta adrenergic receptors. I'm sorry, I just write B, it is beta adrenergic receptor, and as well as it increases the response to circulatory catecholamines. So both the number of the beta adrenergic receptors is increased and their responsiveness to the catecholamines is also get increased. Apart from this, it will enhance the expression of certain kind of the genes, like the alpha myosin heavy chain will be increased, the SERCA is increased, G proteins, sodium potassium ATPase, potassium channels, all these are increased, but it will inhibit the expression of certain type of the genes like the beta myosin heavy chain, phospholampan, two types of adenyl cyclase, and the sodium calcium exchangers. So the overall effect is what? It will increase the heart rate, it will increase the contractility of the heart. Okay, it has chronotropic effect as well as inotropic effect because it increases the response of the beta adrenergic receptor towards the catecholamines, and we know what is the effect of catecholamines. They are going to increase the heart rate and the contractility, and they will be increasing the cardiac output too. Now, what is the effect on the nervous system? Synapse formation and the brain development. Thyroid hormone is very, very important for the brain development. If the mother is pregnant during the pregnancy, if she has deficiency of the iodine or if she is hypothyroidism during the pregnancy, the child will be born with a disease called as a cretinism. So in this, what will happen? The child will have short stature, it will have the mental retardation will be there, and a delay in the motor development will be seen. Then effect on the cholesterol metabolism. So the thyroid hormone decrease in the level of the circulatory cholesterol by increasing the number of the LDL receptors on the liver. Okay. So with this, we are at the end of this video. I hope you understand the topic, that how the thyroid hormone acts and what are its actions. It can be asked in a short answer question or it can be asked during the Viva. So please prepare it, and if you like this video, please like it, and comment down your suggestions for the upcoming video, as well as if you have any doubt regarding anything, you can comment in the comment section. Please subscribe to our channel and check our slides of this video slides and the slide share. Till then, keep learning.